Have you ever been asked a question so simple that it broke your brain? The chicken or the egg, which came first? You've heard it 1,000 times. People laugh, people shrug. People say, who cares? But here's the thing. Science actually has an answer. And when you hear it, you will never look at a chicken the same way again. Because this question is not about chickens. It never was. It's about life itself. How it started, how it changed, how every single living thing on this planet, including you, is the result of one tiny invisible mistake, repeated billions of times, over billions of years. Let's go back, way back, not to the first chicken, not even close. We need to go back approximately 300 million years. Because here's something that will immediately end the debate. Eggs existed long before chickens did. The first eggs appeared on Earth during the age of reptiles. Hard shells, protecting life inside, giving it a chance to develop away from water for the first time. Dinosaurs laid eggs. Ancient reptiles laid eggs. The ocean was full of creatures that reproduced through eggs. The egg is one of the oldest inventions in the history of life. The chicken is a newcomer. But okay, let's be more specific. Because the real question is not whether eggs existed first. It's whether the chicken egg came before the chicken. And this is where evolution walks in and changes everything. Here's what most people misunderstand about evolution. They think it works like a costume change. Like one day, a creature wakes up and is suddenly a new species. That is not how it works. Evolution is invisible. It happens inside the egg. Here is exactly how it worked. Somewhere in prehistoric Asia, there was a bird, not a chicken. Close, but not quite. Scientists call its closest ancestor the red jungle fowl, a wild bird still living today in the forests of Southeast Asia. This bird looked a little like a chicken, behaved a little like a chicken, but genetically, it was not a chicken. Now, this bird reproduced. And during reproduction, when the DNA of two parents combines to create a new life, something happened. A mutation. A tiny microscopic error in the copying of genetic code. Maybe one protein folded differently. Maybe one gene switched on that had never switched on before. This kind of thing happens constantly in nature. Most mutations do nothing. Some are harmful, but occasionally, one changes everything. And in this particular egg, in this particular moment, that mutation produced something subtly but meaningfully different from its parents. Something we would eventually look at and say, that is a chicken. The egg hatched. And the first true chicken stepped out, which means the egg came first. The chicken egg, containing the first chicken, existed before the chicken itself did. Because the mutation happened inside the egg. The parents were not chickens. But what was growing inside that shell was. Think about what that means. The chicken did not give birth to itself. It was born from something that was almost it. Something that was one tiny genetic step behind. And this process, this invisible, patient, relentless process, had been happening for millions of years before that moment. Every generation slightly different from the last. Every egg a small experiment. Every hatchling a new draft of life. Go back further, and that red jungle fowl ancestor came from something older. Go back further, and you find the first birds, small feathered dinosaurs, surviving the mass extinction that killed everything else 66 million years ago. Go back further, and those dinosaurs came from reptiles. Those reptiles from amphibians. Those amphibians crawled out of the ocean from fish. And those fish from simpler creatures. And those creatures from single cells. And those single cells from molecules that somehow, impossibly, came alive in the primordial ocean 3.8 billion years ago. Every single step of that journey happened through reproduction. Through eggs, through cells dividing, through DNA copying itself and occasionally making that tiny beautiful mistake we call a mutation. Life is not a straight line. It is an explosion in slow motion, branching, adapting, failing, surviving, transforming, one generation at a time. And here is the most breathtaking part of all this. You are in that chain. Right now, you are not the final version of humanity. You are one link in a sequence that started nearly 4 billion years ago and has no end in sight. Every person alive today carries mutations that their parents did not have. Small ones, invisible ones. But they are there. And in 10,000 years, in 100,000 years, those mutations will have accumulated into something that looks at old pictures of us, the way we look at ancient fossils, with wonder and with distance. So the next time someone asks you, which came first, the chicken or the egg, you smile, and you say, the egg. Obviously the egg, but the real answer is bigger than that. The real answer is that life has never stopped reinventing itself. That every egg ever laid was a gamble, a hope, a tiny sealed world waiting to open. And that somewhere inside every single one of them was the possibility of something that had never existed before. The chicken was not a beginning. It was just one more answer to a question that life has been asking since the very first cell divided in the dark of a prehistoric ocean. And life has never stopped asking. Subscribe, because we're just getting started.